Are we on? Okay. It's our third or fourth meeting on the emergency services building. And we got the fan running, so we probably have to speak up when we're talking, but I know that you met with a lot of the departments this morning. There's been quite a number of changes made for specific reasons, but we need to go over that, and because of the meeting laws, I was the only one here this morning, and the other commissioners have a meeting. Pardon? Okay. So that was, they have a couple questions too, so if we can start, Sam, you want to go around?
Sam Carlson, County Commissioner.
Choteau, County Commissioner.
Deb Coverdell, EMS and DES.
Aaron Kinstinger with Staley Engineering.
Seth Hardy, Slate Architecture.
Scott Cromwell, Slate Architecture.
Melissa Moyer, Health Department.
Dick Snellman, Commissioner. Did you get that email to?
I think
Deb?
he's working.
Yeah, just making it right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And then she can go.
he'll make it,
off.
it'll go to space and then it'll be back to us.
Cloud nine or
Yeah.
whatever, okay.
Yep.
Can I get your email?
D Coverdell.
D.
Oh, sorry. Ready for Coverdell?
DELL. At Teton County MT.gov. Org, no, .gov. Org, no. Yeah, exactly.
And I guess I can do some explaining. Is we had a meeting on the 1st of August. We were going to have a preliminary back in a couple weeks so that we could look at it. We received this information, well, before this one, yesterday morning, which the whole process had changed. And we had a meeting at 10 o'clock this morning with the departments, and it's in the process of being changed back. There were some regulations as far as size and rules for the building that have changed the dimensions of it, but that's what we're going to hear from them this afternoon. Go from there. So, Scott, I guess I'll turn it over to you. Or?
Thank you, Commissioner. I think I'll in turn turn it over to Aaron to get started on the site side of it.
If you guys can speak up, I know
Yep.
we've got a little interference here.
In
So.
this form, could you pull up your site plan?
Yep. The site. No, just on our 18 plan.
Okay, so, yeah, this is great. On the screen reflects the latest and greatest footprint as well as building placement on the parcel. And I'll walk you through this. Since our last meeting on approximately August 1st, our in-house site survey has come out and has shot a lot plus the surrounding area, so we now have accurate topography. That is reflected, it's hard to see on this screen, but it's gray dashed lines of the existing contours showing the various elevations. And the key thing to note is from the sheriff's office, which is the north side, to the south side, down towards Second, you have approximately 3 feet of fall, and that is driving the grading on the site and the building parameters and the building footprint. And then with respect to that, our last iteration had a building width of approximately 76 feet. Since that time, since we have the topo, the 76-foot wide building will not work with respect to grading. We will not be able to tie in the grades on the east and west sides with that width of building. So the building skinning up to approximately 65 feet, and in order to maintain the same overall square footage of the original building, it lengthened to approximately 175 linear feet. So what's reflected in green on the screen is that footprint, 65 by 175. You'll notice that the footprint has been placed on the parcel on the eastern side, nearest the railroad properties, keeping in mind that several factors on that east side. There's a 10-foot existing easement running north-south along the property line. That easement is in favor of the railroad for perpetuity, so we need to keep that in mind. And then the grading is the other driving factor, which I already mentioned. As Commissioner Snellman talked about, we had a meeting this morning at 10 a.m. So the doorways, the doors reflected on this plan do not necessarily reflect the latest and greatest. And Scott's going to speak to that here in a little bit. Also discussed this morning, in order to try to rectify the grade differential, it was tentatively decided upon to assume we would have a drop slab in the last 40-ish feet of the building, the southern 40-ish feet, to accommodate the ambulances, so the ambulances can exit along the southern side here, so that we roll up doors. And again, Scott's going to go through that portion. This also allows you approximately 40 feet on this side as placed, so that gives you room for parking, concrete slabs for the roll-up doors, as well as room to moving the traffic. So that's a quick overview of the site plan itself and the building footprint. Have any questions with respect to that? Yeah, so clarify a little further on this MRL easement, this railroad easement. It's hard to see on the screen. It's depicted by a yellow line here. Again, it's 10 feet wide off of your property line. To clarify, also directly abutting you is a 40-foot strip owned by the railroad, and then a 50-foot strip owned by the railroad. The deed for this particular 10-foot easement reads that the railroad in perpetuity has the rights to do basically whatever they want. It does not narrow it down to specific uses or, for example, grading or what have you. It just says they have the rights to use that space until it's deemed not necessary. So hopefully that clarifies that aspect.
Are you saying that there is parking between the alley and the building right there? Right up against the building?
There's the potential.
And we can't go any wider with the building? Why?
Because getting down too great without exceeding. So you need ADA compliance for the any associated parking and any associated pedestrian walkways immediately adjacent to the building. And then beyond that, if we want to tie in a little steeper, fine, but I would not recommend going steeper than 5%, because in the real world, that's not practical.
And I just have a question. If we did receive a variance from the city and that alley could be raised, would that allow the building to become wider?
Possibly, but I'd analyze it. I can't answer that right now. Secondary question?
So on the plan, this morning we came in with the 10 o'clock meeting, and what we had sent previously was a departure, as you know, from our last meetings as a result of information that Aaron had provided. So we tried to see what we could do to cram it in. We found out this morning that's not right. And we did not communicate that well enough over the process that we were scrambling to get something put together. And so this last about hour and a half, Seth and I have sat in and just kind of revamped the entire building. So there's still work in progress, and so the opportunity to really visit with you, go through it, especially Deb, Melissa, just to talk about those pieces. We'll explain what we've done, and then kind of let us know some thoughts, adjustments. But with that, Seth, let's stay on the we'll start with for the sheriff's office, we did not change any of that. So that's kind of still as is. It didn't appear that there was a concern there. The sheriff didn't mention anything about it at 10 o'clock. So we didn't touch that. For our health department, which is in orange, here, what we tried to do is ring the entire perimeter of offices for those folks. The waiting room, we kind of ran out of room. And so when we say reception waiting, we moved that down. Melissa had made a comment, it's nice to be able to step out and see who's in waiting. That'll be difficult to do, so I don't know if there'll be a camera or a comics mirror or something just to be able to see that. But we just kind of ran out of square footage to do that.
Scott, can you speak up just a little
Sure.
bit,
Yep.
please?
Okay. So then, we do have 10 offices in there now. So 10 offices. We have a mother's room. So we tucked that in the back corner, over here away from everything else. If you recall from the previous 10 o'clock plan, we did have a restroom already, so we've left that. We're working on revamping restroom numbers right now, but it is going to decrease. So we will have less restroom requirement in there overall in the building. We've got the lab, so kind of right front and center is the lab we requested with lab storage. And then we've got a back storage area there. Could serve as an office. It's only 88 square feet, but if you need something else, it can happen. And then we've got another storage area here as well on this side. So that one should be interconnected with some of the ones. It's the same with the other one too. So we think that works based on our 10 o'clock meeting for the health department. But please let us know
Okay.
as you have a chance to look at it.
Yep, great.
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
It definitely looks closer, yep.
Okay, all right.
So then,
Yeah.
There, yeah. This is.
okay, so then we're going to jump over to the ambulance all the way to the south side. Again, this whole level is dropped 2 feet. That 2 foot drop is right here.